Welcome to Hotline TV, everybody. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Amy Walter. All right, so Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, both on the Sunday talk shows yesterday. They're trying to make their closing arguments before the North Carolina and Indiana primaries. Let's take a look at how they did.
We have a permanent set of bases. We are in Kuwait. We're in Bahrain. We have our troops on the ground in other countries. And the reason we've been there all these years is to serve as a buffer, to serve as a check and balance on the originally designs of Saddam Hussein and on the potential threats from Iran. If Iran continues to try to pursue a nuclear weapon, if you're sitting in one of the other capitals in the Gulf region and in the wider Middle East, you're not going to let Iran get that nuclear weapon. You're going to have your own nuclear weapons raised. And we're talking about, the potential deterrable effect of our being able to say, don't even think about it, Iran.
This gas tax, which was first proposed by John McCain and then quickly adopted by Senator Clinton, is a classic Washington gimmick. It is a political response to a serious problem that we have neglected for decades. You're looking at suspending a gas tax for 3 months. The average driver would save 30 cents per day for a grand total of $28. So what this is a strategy to get through the next election. And Senator Clinton's own staff told the Washington Post, we don't think this is really going to go anywhere. We don't think it's going to work, but we think it's a good issue to use in a campaign.
All right, so John?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's start it off here. Is anybody winning this argument on the gas tax, and what's going on in Iran?
I think Hillary Clinton is really struggling on the gas tax argument. Especially yesterday talking about trying to sort of repudiate economists as elitists. It sounds as though she's almost taking.
What do they know?
It's a page out of President Bush's playbook. It played right into Obama's hands. He could sort of attack her. But we'll find out tomorrow whether or not that still remains something that resonates with people. There are people in North Carolina, people in Indiana, who are scraping together money just to pay for gas, just to pay, for bills like that. And people might think that somebody like Obama or economists don't understand that. The interesting thing, though, I thought was the Obama comments. The Iran comments that she made. She sort of stuck with the idea of obliteration without actually using the word obliteration ever again, despite Stephanopoulos' repeated efforts to get her to do that. You almost got the sense that as much as she wants the sort of strong language against Iran, she does sort of regret the use of the word.
But it goes right back to this, which is we have two candidates who still keep even talking to their base, even as they try to either expand their coalition or pretend to expand the coalition, which is when Barack Obama goes out, runs ads, talking about how all these very smart people, like in the New York Times and the Washington Post and economists talk about how bad the gas tax is. He's clearly not trying to get the sort of white working class vote, right? He's still going to the same kind of people who are going to read those newspapers and see them as credible. When Hillary Clinton is talking about Iran and saber rattling, et cetera, are we getting back into the same thing about who's tougher, who's going to get up there and be a fighter, right? It's the same message she's had all along, and it's not gotten her any more traction with those kinds of people she hasn't been able to make inroads into. So I think that for both, at least they're talking about an issue where they have a disagreement. So that's actually better, even though he still had to talk about right for the first 15 minutes. He still had to talk about right for the first 15 minutes. How many minutes?
With Tim. And the problem, though, the reason that I think he comes back to it, and then this morning Matt Lauer also came back to it, you get the sense that Obama, A, doesn't really fully recognize this as the issue that he needs to deal with in the campaign, and B, hasn't really developed a way to talk about it that resonates with voters.
Was it just that he can't? I mean, it's sort of done. You either were in the church or you weren't. Oprah left the church.
Oprah left the church.
Why not leave the church?
Saying now, well, I only rejected him after he seemed as though he was going to double down in his rhetoric. Well, you kind of knew beforehand, I think, what this person was like. And to say that you never saw his political advice, even after you named the name of the title of your second book, The Audacity of Hope, after one of his sermons, I don't think that resonates with people. And I think we saw, if we can talk about one other person who was on the Sunday shows yesterday, was Mike Easley, the governor of North Carolina, endorsed Hillary Clinton, saying that in a very sort of tricky strategy from the Clinton campaign. Look, the Reverend Wright controversy, that's not going to play in the Democratic primary in my state, but it's going to play in the general election with the Republican electorate as part of the vote, and that's why Democrats and Democratic superdelegates should be worried about it, because it goes to, doesn't go to racism, it doesn't go to race baiting, it goes to electability. by way of race baiting. And I think that's clearly what they're trying to do.
But let me ask you this, Mike Easley. Friend of the show.
Big friend of the show. Contributor, financial contributor to the show, as a matter of fact.
We have to be full disclosure.
And he is my third cousin as well.
Oh, yeah. So, but look, if Barack Obama gets 80-something%, 90% of the black vote in the Democratic primary, and is only getting 35% or so of the white vote, what does that mean about, what does that say about the Democratic electorate and the issue of race?
Interesting.
You're right, it's only going to be important in a general election. That's right. It has nothing to do in the primary. Nothing to do with it. All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. Until tomorrow, I'm Amy Walter.
And I'm John Mercurio. Make sure you join us back here tomorrow, primary day, here on Hotline TV.